Thank you very much, all panelists. I have run, but at least I have run out of my questions now, and we can give the floor a chance. I know we don't have much time. I'm afraid we have only half an hour left of our meeting. I'll give you a few, I give few people to raise questions or make contributions. Please make it brief because we don't have much time, and please allow a bit of time for the panelists to answer. If you want to answer a specific person, just address them and tell them clearly your question, and then we can ask it. I think...
Uh-huh. Thank you for your very interesting comments. My name is Julie. Some people may argue that actually Sharia law exists already. People have always gone to, the mullah or the religious leader. So maybe it's a good idea that actually the state is looking at what they are exactly doing instead of just banning them because people will keep on going to them. That's my question.
Anybody else? Okay, someone up there.
Hello. Your campaign, your One Law for All campaign, seems to me lacking in focus, and the website isn't clear about the current role and jurisdiction of Sharia law in the UK. And I would like one of the lawyers on the panel to explain that a bit. Secondly, from what was said before, I understand that the decisions of these bodies, the current decisions of these bodies, have no standing in British law. Can that be clarified as well? And finally, I'd like to see what people know, or at least surmise, about what the government's intention is in the direction of endorsing and recognising the decisions of these courts. Thank you very much.
Over there. Okay, right, that's fine.
I'd like to ask, does anybody of the solicitors realise that kangaroo courts are already against the law in Northern Ireland, where courts were set up to undermine the state, to bring in a new political system? And the fact that you have this alternative religious courts is an attempt to undermine the state here. I mean, it's treason.
Right, thank you. Can we have it over there? That far?
I facilitate two groups in London, the London Atheist Meetup Group and the London Secular Feminist Group. And I'd just like to make the point that we should remember that a lot of British social policy is based on the prejudice of Christianity. So it is not just Islam. And between ourselves, I think we should always be quite clear on that. And I think that until the wisdom of atheism is allowed to be promoted, as is Christianity and other religions, then the general public will always think that the prejudices of 3,000 years of patriarchal religion will mean that however much evidence we put before them, they will take no notice, because they will think that these prejudices are natural and normal.
Hi, yeah, my name for today is Rachel, and I'd just like to go a step further and ask the panel what they really think is wrong with radical Islamofascism's conception of human life. Because when I read the quotes from the Quran, it's as if I'm reading some sort of medieval horror story that's attacking that Western Enlightenment, universal Enlightenment concept of free individuals who are self-conscious and in control of their life. I just want to know what the panel think is really the core problem with the Islamic ideology. Thank you.
If we don't don't have anyone else, can we just give that? Is there anyone else? Oh, yes.
Yeah, thanks. I just wanted to ask, other than coming to today and signing the petition, what can we do as individuals to support this campaign? Thank you.
Right, thank you. Can we start, you want to start from that part? Sorry?
Yeah, that's what we're doing
yes,
now.
That's we are going to answer the question.
We have some questions as well from you.
Can I just ask you please to be brief, because we only have
Sure.
time.
I probably won't directly answer some of the questions because I came here for one reason only, and that is I believe in the separation of church and state. I didn't come here to talk about Islamic ideology. I didn't even come here necessarily to talk about the very interesting question of freedom of speech, because that is a big discussion that Europe needs to have. Because until we can find Mein Kampf in our local libraries, I think the whole issue is much more complicated than we think. So I'm here to talk about absolutely a belief that the state has got to be religiously neutral. And also, okay, Islam has particular problems, and I completely agree with two of the speakers, the resurgence is very problematic, and it is the problem at the moment. But remember this, that even today in the 21st century, women in Ireland cannot have an abortion. Okay, so I think it's really important to remember that where the state and faith are not separate, it is not only within Islam that some of the worst, I mean, imagine what that does to the lives of young girls in Northern and Southern Ireland today, and they're part of Europe. This is so shocking to me. So I think it's really important not to bash one faith. And I think it's also very important to be clear that and I completely agree with Mariam that the law changes attitudes. It's not the other way. Mm-hmm. And it is when we decide, absolutely, without compromise, because here the argument for Sharia is being the same as the argument in Ontario, which is that in Orthodox Jewry, family courts solve their problems. And there is as much terrible injustice within those courts as there is in Sharia. So again, I think it is a broader problem. I set up something called British Muslims for Secular Democracy, which is kind of very linked to what you're saying. And one of the things we're doing is re-educating brainwashed young Muslims into embracing democracy as part of their essential identity almost, because the distortion of a religious identity has now become a kind of tumor, I think. If we look at it like that, I think it becomes clearer, the agenda becomes clearer, that what we want collectively is for no religions to have a say in terms of how policy is made and how policy is enacted. And I think on that you will get a much better progress than if we bring all these other things in and kind of come up with yet another attack on all peoples of faith or faith itself, or I think concentrate on the basic thing, what you said so well, Mariam. Religion out of political and public life.
Vote for the day.